Hey guys, Nikki here. So it's been almost a month since our last one of these videos, so let's do this all over again. Episode 2 of the Lucha Underground Power Rankings, this time for the first 8 episodes of Season 2. Now for those of you who missed the first video in this little series that I'm doing, here is a look at where all the wrestlers stood after the first 4 episodes of Season 2. Very nice, all nice and orderly, nice. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started, just like last time, with our honorable mentions. First up on the honorable mentions list is the Disciples of Death. Wow, they have done nothing so far. Like, they have done a fantastic job of finding a way to get kicked right the hell out of the top 15 after being solidly inside the top 10 at the end of the last video. By the way, there was a guy on Reddit who helped me figure out which of the disciples were which. His name is Ian Kaio. There's no way I said that right, but I don't care. And he says, Barrio Negro wears a black shirt, and Negro is Spanish for black. Trece is Spanish for the number 13, and he has a 13 on his forehead. And the only one left is Sinestro de la Muerte. Thank you. That's very handy. It's kind of bad now that kind of the disciples really are meaningless at this point. Like, they did not get a single chance to really show that they deserved to hold the trios titles. Like, their only other match this season was a 2-on-3 handicap match against Puma and Pentagon, which they lost pretty darn handily. And now they had the match in episode 8 for the trios titles, and they got bodied. They got absolutely they got their shit pushed in, and after the match, they got their shit pushed in even harder by Martez. It kind of feels like they only had the trios titles in the first place to give us that shot at the end of Ultima Lucha where everybody is holding the gold. And now that things are starting to unravel for Team Death, just like I predicted, now it seems like they're kind of dispensable. And it's also kind of showing that there's a real lack of depth in the trios division, because right now there's only one team in the trios division, and that's the champions. There's a lot of tag teams or 2-people teams, but right now there's really not much in terms of competition for the dysfunctional ones, which we'll get to in a little bit. Also on the honorable mentions, Taya. Good God, lady, are you okay? Like, she really proved a lot in her match against Cage. Like, before the match started, I heard a lot of hype about her, so I thought maybe this will work, but I also heard a little bit of hype on Cobra Moon beforehand, and but damn, Taya looked good. And I gotta say, she took one hell of a beating from Cage. Like, it was almost a little bit uncomfortable. And now, like, they're positioning Taya as an actual force to be reckoned with. Like, this is how you handle your women wrestlers. Not like Sexy Star, who's just like, oh man, she's fighting for all the women out there. She's tough for a woman and blah, blah, blah. She's holding her own with the men. No. There was hardly any mention of her womanliness in that match. She just got the fuck knocked out of her, and she came back for more. She was almost like Lucha Underground's version of Dean Ambrose, only not quite as over yet. But Taya, damn, hell of a showing. I can't wait to see more. Also, Johnny Mundo, you douchebag. Next up is Marty the Moth Martinez and Mariposa. Hey, Marty the Moth finally got a win. And he got to show us his finisher, which is a second rope curb stomp. Man, these guys really just love showing up Seth Rollins' finishers. First, there was that part back near the end of Season 1 where Famous B was handing out pedigrees left and right and making them look damn good. And now Marty the Moth is taking your old finisher. That's got to be rough for Seth. But either way, we finally got word as to what Marty's sister is, and it's Mariposa. And Mariposa looks kind of dumb, I'm not gonna lie. But her music is creepy as hell, and she's definitely got a look to her. I guess we'll find out a little bit more about her in the coming episodes, but that's a creepy one right there. And then there's PJ Black. He has seemed to align himself with Jack Evans. I'm kind of hoping that he, Evans, and someone forms some trios team to go after the trios titles. I think that might be a pretty cool lineup. But, like, PJ Black is still looking for his first win, and we're almost halfway through season 1. That's not a great, or halfway through season 2. That's not a great sign. But he at least seems to have a goal, and he's got himself a tag team partner, so the wins might start to come pretty soon, hopefully, because PJ Black is good. Hate to see them waste him, like some other organization did. Aerostar is also in the honorable mentions. Man, the questions just don't stop coming with this guy. Like, okay, he showed up in the bathroom to help out Drago against PJ Black and Jack Evans, and like, apparently he's got a neon nunchuck. Okay, cool. Why the hell not? Wrestling is fun. But either way, looks like there's going to be a budding friendship, or there already is a budding friendship, but maybe some sort of tag team alliance between Drago and Aerostar. I'm cool with that. Then there's Killshot, of course, one of my personal favorites. I'm not going to take him off until something bad happens. But, and on top of that, Matt Stryker mentioned, I believe in his match with Cuerno in episode 6, that Killshot is on the road to greatness. Like, he said that he had his eye on people like Phoenix and Drago in season 1, and this season, Matt Stryker has his eye on Killshot. That's a good sign. I like the sound of that. Then there's Cobra Moon. I will admit she did get marginally better in her match against Sexy Star, I believe it was. But still, not doing it for me. Rey Mysterio Jr. and El Dragonteca Jr., they are almost ready to make their debut, and it looks like they're probably going to do it at... Well, they are going to be doing it at Ultima Lucha, Aztec Warfare. They both got an invitation, so that's two of the people in the match that we know of right away. So, man, Ultima Lucha is going to be fun. And finally, Montaza. We finally got to see what he looks like, and I was really worried that he wasn't going to live up to the hype, because we've had a season and a half of just building and building and building for this guy, and I was really worried they were going to drop the ball a little bit, but this guy looks terrifying. He's like covered in blood, and with like his knuckles are all broken and stuff, and this guy looks like a monster, and he towered over everyone. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if once he gets into the ring, he just towers over everybody. Like, Montaza is going to be fun. Oh, and by the way, I finally included him on this list. Somebody mentioned, hey, maybe you should put Montaza on here. Here we are. I will be willing to bet you by the time we get to episode 3 of this series, he is not going to be in the honorable mentions anymore. I have a feeling. So, on to the top 15. At number 15, we have Tejano. Well, he convinced me. He is legit. Like, it's kind of weird with Tejano. Like, you've got this huge cast of these weird characters. Like, you've got a dragon, a phoenix, like multiple dead people, and you've got Tejano, who's basically just like, his gimmick is that he's a patriotic rancher guy. But at the same time, I can't really trash talk him too much, because he is just so damn solid in the ring. Like, his moves they look brutal. He's got really good moves to him, and he gets ring psychology really well. And in his most recent match, the bull rope match against Chavo Guerrero in episode 8, he made Chavo look really, really good. Well, I can't really say he made him look good. Chavo did some good work in there too. And honestly, I could have probably put Chavo in the honorable mentions. He's done some things in recent weeks, but at the same time, Tejano, he is doing pretty good in the ring. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a kind of high-profile feud coming up in future episodes, because it seems like he's kind of won the thing with Chavo. Like, I don't know where they would go from here. Like, Chavo's pretty much been beaten down as much as humanly possible. He lost the crew, and he got his ass kicked in the bull rope match. Feels like that feud's over. But hopefully Tejano goes up a little bit from here. Maybe he faces Cuerno. That'd be cool. Number 14, Jack Evans. He's starting to come up the rankings a little bit, and he's getting wins and looking pretty damn douchey in the process. And that's how we like him. Like, Jack Evans is awesome at getting that good, solid heel heat. Like, he is such a massive douchebag. Like, I kind of love him for it. It's good. And in the last video, I was kind of worried that they weren't going to be able to get a ton of mileage out of a Drago versus Evans feud, and I was only half wrong, because they have now seemed to include PJ Black and Aerostar into the mix, so that works as well. I like all of these people as performers, so yeah, a tag team feud, maybe eventually a trios feud if they can wrangle some more people into it. This seems good. I like the sound of this. Number 13, Sexy Star. So, Sexy is now back, and she is still embroiled in her feud with Marty the Moth, and she kind of has lost some of her, what's the word I'm looking for? Fighting spirit, maybe? Like, it seems as though Marty and Mariposa have basically broken her. It seems like just every time, like when Mariposa debuted, Sexy was having a damn panic attack, and she almost seemed like she was being hypnotized or something by Mariposa, or was just too afraid to not answer her when she told her to rise. This is interesting. Like, the Mac is also in this little feud right now, so okay, cool. Number 12, Drago. So, in the last video, I had him all the way down at number 13, and in retrospect, maybe that was a little too low. Like, I probably could have put him ahead of some people. So, I'm going to bring him up one notch, even though so far in the last 4 episodes, he has had 2 appearances, and one of them, he kind of fucked up hard in the match between PJ Black and Jack Evans, where he misted the wrong guy. But I will bump him up 1 spot for the sole reason that the nunchuck fight in the bathroom between him, Aerostar, PJ, and Jack Evans was ridiculous and kind of hilarious. And it was awesome. So Drago can move up another spot, but he kind of needs to get back into the swing of some wins, and kind of soon. And it's kind of not good, because on the opposite side of that feud, PJ Black needs to start scoring some wins. So this feud right now is going to be kind of important for both sides. Let's see where that goes. Number 11, the Mac. He drops down a spot from last time, and he lost his only match in the last 4 episodes to Marty the Moth. That is not good for you. Like, most people are able to beat Marty the Moth. Well, to be fair, he lost off of some auspicious circumstances, because Mariposa made her big debut, so I don't know. We're probably going to get a tag team match at some point between Mariposa and Marty the Moth versus Sexy Star and the Mac. And I'm keeping him this high because he had one kind of hilarious scene at the start of or near the beginning of episode 7, I believe it was, right before his match with Marty the Moth, where he went to give Sexy a pep talk in his underoos. Like, I don't know if maybe this is different in a lot of places, but typically you're not supposed to go into the women's locker room wearing nothing but a pair of tights. Because they had that one shot where they were focusing on Sexy, but if you look slightly to the right, you see the Mac and his bulge, and it's just like, that is not a good look for you, my man. Maybe I'm just weird. I don't know. Anyway, enough of that weirdness. Number 10, Son of Havoc, and your new Lucha Underground Trios champions. First off, Son of Havoc. He, like all three of them, looked really, really good in their match with the Disciples of Death, but that's partially because none of the Disciples looked all that good. So, like, all three of the dysfunctional team, it's kind of hard to call them dysfunctional at this point, seeing as how in all of their matches they seem to have perfect chemistry with one another. Oh well. But either way, the dysfunctional ones, they got the win, they got their trios titles back, and you can bet your bottom dollar Katrina is going to try and do everything she can to put the titles back on the Disciples, even if the Disciples are kind of played out at this point. Like, honestly, I wouldn't mind if they went back to their original personas, which, for those of you who don't know and were kind of wondering, I want to, like, if you don't want to know the identity of the Disciples, bring down the volume. I'll let you know when to come back up. The Disciples of Death are Martinez, Ricky Mandel, and El Mariachi Loco. And we're back. Son of Havoc. He got some pretty cool moments. I like the spot in the match against the Disciples where all three of them were kind of attacking the Disciples in kind of a triangle method. Like they had all three of them in three corners, and they just kept going on each other. Like that was a pretty cool spot and kind of indicative that yeah, these guys have got their stuff together. Even though in the vignettes they seem to not have their stuff together. It's, I guess it's like an adrenaline thing. Number 9 on Helico. Let's get that out there just so that we don't run out of things to talk about before we get there. On Helico, he brought back the Fall of the Angels. Yeah. Not to say his coup de grace wasn't good, but I just like the Fall of the Angels more. It's a cool looking finisher, even if it's not technically a finisher, because when he brought it back, it was as a lead-in to the Shooting Star Press from Son of Havoc, so either way. But, like, Angelico still looked pretty good in the match. He got to use a lot more of his high knees. I'm still waiting for him to have one of those big, crazy moments where he just flies from somewhere. But I feel like there's going to be one coming at some point, but we will have to see. I really hope that he does, because he kind of brought a lot of attention to Lucha Underground when he did that last season, like both times he did that, and I want to see more of that. That would be fun, please. On Helico. Number 8, Johnny Mundo. Like, what happened to Johnny? Like, it's kind of weird. I believe it was back in episode 3 or 4. He talked about how he was like this. He's supposed to be this huge star. Like he resented the fact that he was the opening match at Ultima Lucha, and how he deserves to be treated better. And like the things that he's saying in those promos and the things that's happening in the ring really aren't backing that up. Like so far, his only win in the last 4 episodes was in a match against Cage, in which Taya showed up and made things a little bit screwy. Like, granted, he did end up ending episode 6 standing tall, but at the same time, like, he really needs to get into a feud where he can win some matches, because he's starting to slip, and he's losing a little bit of credibility at the moment. I will say that. Like, he needs something really big to happen to him. Maybe he and Taya can start racking up some wins together. Maybe they could make a run for the Trios titles. I keep throwing out these teams to go after the Trios titles because, like I said, the dysfunctional ones really don't have any competition at the moment, and they kind of need some. Please? But still, Johnny Mundo needs some wins, and until he gets those wins, he's probably going to continue to fall in these rankings. Like, so far he's in the middle of the pack right now. Like, this is Johnny Mundo we're talking about. He should be somewhere up here, but he's not somewhere up here. He's like here. I really hope I'm actually pointing to him, because otherwise this is going to be not great, but somewhere around there. I don't know. Number 7, King Cuerno. He's falling a little bit too. Actually, from where he was last time, he's staying in the exact same spot, so I can't really say anything. Because he had one really good match again. Actually, he had a bunch of really good matches. Like, the ladder match was really cool. I gotta give him credit for that. And his match against Killshot was pretty good. Like, at least with Cuerno, the reason I'm having him above Mundo is because Cuerno at least has a clean win over Killshot. Like, Mundo has just kind of... he hasn't had a chance to really, really dominate someone, or at least pick up a clean win of some kind, or even a dirty win. Well, other than the cage one, but a clean win. Like, that's kind of damaging. But Cuerno, on the other hand, has not only gotten a win, but in his losses, he looked damn good. That ladder match. So, I'm really hoping that Cuerno, like I said in the last video, I really hope that Cuerno doesn't get lost in the shuffle. I really hope that he still finds something to do after Aztec Warfare, because at the moment, he's kind of in a not great place, and he needs to get some momentum back, because he's lost a bunch of matches to Phoenix, and he kind of needs to rebuild himself a little bit. And number 6, Ivelisse. Her momentum up the power rankings continue. She keeps on looking damn good. Like I said, all of the members of the dysfunctional team got made to look really good in their match, and Ivelisse took maybe the most pounding in the match. Like, she kind of got a little bit more of the offense against her from the Disciples, but she still looked pretty good. And right now, she is the best female wrestler on the roster right now. We kind of maybe need to see a little bit more from Taya and Mariposa before we can really make that statement. But I will say right now, she's definitely better than Cobra Moon, and I will say she's at least a little bit better than Sexy Star. Like, she takes bumps like crazy. Like, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Ivelisse. Number 5, Pentagon Jr. He's fallen a little bit too. Like, he hasn't picked up a win since his, I believe his 2-on-3 handicap match with Puma against the Disciples. Like, he lost the match between, against Puma when he got, like, when Puma did the bridge with his neck. He lost, then the second match between those two ended in a no contest when Martez showed up, and he got pinned along with Puma against Martez in the 3-way match. Like, Pentagon is starting to lose some momentum, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point Vampiro were to kind of get on him, because he's getting a little bit upstaged in the ring. Like, he needs to start looking dominant again. He needs to do it sooner rather than later. I hope he has a really good showing at Ultima Lucha. Damn it, I said it again. I hope he has a really good showing at Aztec Warfare to kind of make himself seem a little bit more imposing, because he kind of needs it. Number 4, he's not a man. He's a machine! I really like doing that. It's Cage! Damn, Cage does not stop looking good. Like, so, he was facing Johnny Mundo, and it took a bonk to the head from what looked like a lead pipe to put him down, and a double team along with Taya afterwards to keep him from standing strong. And then, in the next encounter, in the no disqualification match against Taya, he took that same bonk, and he ended up kicking out, taking a couple of glass bottles to the dome, which that spot never gets old. And I love that canonically, like, Cage is immune to bottles to the head. You'd think that people would stop going for that at some point, but I get the feeling that they won't, and I really hope they never learn that, because that is infinitely cool. Just psh. good stuff. So yeah, he's pretty much like I want to say that maybe there's going to be another match in the cage Johnny Mundo rivalry, but it almost feels like Mundo's moving on a little bit. Like he's maybe targeting Puma again, which, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to. They made magic together last time these two feuded, so I'm up for a match between these two. And yeah, like right now Cage is being booked like a badass. And I wouldn't be shocked if at some point in the future Cage gets a world title shot, because he looks like a machine, as if there was any question as to whether he was one or not. At number 3, Prince Puma. The only reason I have him above Pentagon Jr. and in fact a little higher than Pentagon is because A, he had that win over Pentagon, and B, in episode 8, he punched through a sandbag. I don't think I've ever actually seen anybody do that kind of spot in reality or in, like, television stuff. Damn. Like, normally whenever you have a shot with somebody, you know, punching a sandbag and wanting to have one final decisive, like, moment of badass with the sandbag, they punch it and the sandbag falls off of its hooks or something like that. I don't think that you ever actually see somebody just punch his way straight through the freaking sandbag. That was pretty damn sweet. So Puma, it almost feels like Puma is getting a little bit upstaged as Lucha Underground's top babyface by Phoenix. I wouldn't be totally opposed to a face versus face match at some point between Phoenix and Puma, because Phoenix is riding a boatload of momentum at the moment, and we'll get to him in a little bit. But Puma, he's still getting made to look pretty good, and like his only real down moment of the last few episodes was him getting double pinned alongside Pentagon Jr., but like but Martez is kind of a beast, so... And he sort of had Puma's number. I don't think Puma has a pinfall victory over Martez yet. Speaking of Martez, at number 2, Mil Muertes. Ooh, he ain't the champion anymore. Things are looking really bad for Team Death now. Like I said, things spiral out of control for Team Death, and the balance of power is starting to shift a little bit. Like, you can be sure that they're going to do everything in their power to get the titles back on their guys, but still, at the moment, things aren't all that peachy for Mil and Co. Either way, Muertes is still getting booked like a damn juggernaut. Like, he's still sitting on top of his skull throne. Well, actually, he hasn't in the last couple of episodes because he's been in matches. He had his match against Puma and Pentagon, who he double pinned. Damn. Like, two of the most over guys in the company, and he pinned them both. That's a showing of strength right there. Plus, not to mention, that match was fantastic. The triple threat, I mean. And he didn't, like, Phoenix got the pin on Muertes by, like, kind of a... I'm not going to say a fluke victory, because their match... We'll get to that match. But, like... It wasn't with a finisher, it was with kind of a modified roll-up, sort of? I don't know. You know what I'm saying. If you saw the match, you know what I mean. But Muertes is for sure going to be positioned as at least one of the prominent players for the rest of the season. So, it'll be interesting to see if and when he gets his title back. But for now, he's going to be chasing the guy who's now at the top of the list and your new Lucha Underground champion, Phoenix. He probably would have moved into this top spot even if he didn't win the world title, because damn, he's been putting on amazing matches. Like, his last man standing match with King Cuerno was excellent. The ladder match with Cuerno was awesome. And his match between Muertes at the end of episode 8 for the Lucha Underground title, new match of the season. Like, holy shit, these guys destroyed one another. Like, Phoenix and Martez are positioning themselves as eternal rivals, and it makes sense. You know, Phoenix is the man of 1,000 lives. Martez literally means 1,000 deaths. It makes sense for these two to be feuding with each other for a long, long time because, you know, the feud between life and death is eternal. But you would think that at some point they would stop one-upping their own matches. Like, every time Phoenix and Martez get into the ring with each other, they create beauty in the ring. Like, these two guys are amazing. And Phoenix has been, like, every match he's in is just fantastic. Like, at the end of season 1, like, I thought that Phoenix was good, but I felt like he was like not the number 1 face, but maybe like the 2 or 3 face. At this point, Phoenix is, in my opinion, the top baby face in the company. He is unseated Puma, and Phoenix is just awesome. I really enjoy Phoenix every time he gets into the ring. I can't wait to see him get back in there. And he's got to defend the title in Aztec Warfare. That's going to be brutal. I hope he retains, because it'd be kind of lame if he had a 1-week run as Lucha Underground champion. But still, maybe. We'll see. But either way, that is your top 15 Lucha Underground Power Rankings. Here is a look at the full rankings. There you go. Ooh, look how schmexy that Power Rankings list is. So that's all for me. I will see you guys in another month for another one of these. And also, if you are checking out these videos for the first time, Calcos has a WWE 2K16 tournament lined up for later today, and it's going to feature all of the Haymakers as creator wrestlers in 2K16. So if you want to check that out, I will leave a link in the description to Calcos' Twitch chat or Twitch stream of that. It should be going on sometime around 8 p.m., 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern time. And also check out some of our other videos. And so until next time, I'll see y'all later.